This is the Commodities and Recycling Report brought to you by BENLEE, the industry leader in roll-off trailers and open-top scrap trailers, as well as Raleigh and Goldsboro Metal Recycling, the leaders in North Carolina, for scrap metal, cardboard, electronics, and junk cars. Today is Monday, June 29, 2015. My name is Greg Brown, President and CEO of the companies. There was no good news last week in the commodities and recycling markets as the world had to deal this past weekend with Greek debt issues. Last weekend it looked like there was hope that all would be resolved, but things turned ugly in recent days. Steel production came down a bit last week, but for good news, it has been rising slowly for many months now. Commercial Metal Corporation released their earnings last week and had higher earnings, with the increase in steel shipment being a key reason, along with a major reduction in raw material pricing, which of course is mainly scrap metal. That followed with the recycling division having doubled their loss over last year due to lower volumes and lower prices. Related, while the oil rig count dropped for unprecedented 29th week, the gas rig count was up. So the total oil and gas rig count was actually up for the first time in many months. As has been said, these are major consumers of steel and produce significant amounts of scrap metal. With oil prices stable, we expect the oil rig count to stabilize as well. Refinery capacity for gasoline, which remains at very high levels, has caused gasoline prices to rise, despite the stable oil prices. This increase is erasing some of the economic benefits that we saw in the economy with lower prices. Copper prices, which came up a bit in the last 2 weeks, stabilized last week. While the Greek news is a negative for prices, China lowered their interest rates over the weekend, as well as eased some of their banking rules, both of which should help the economy. China's stock market, which had become overheated this year, has come down a bit, actually 10% in recent days. So things are in flux there, which could be a negative on material prices. Remember, China consumes 50% of the world's copper. Aluminum has seen much of the same issues as copper and was somewhat stable last week, yet remains at multi-year lows. We were in Dallas last week, in Texas, at the ISRI Gulf Coast meeting, seeing friends and customers. The mood was somewhat depressed though, with oil and gas drilling down, their businesses down, with flows of metal and profits being depressed. On the positive side, there's word that car sales in the U.S., which will be released this week, will be strong, which is helping many parts of the economy. Also, congratulations to our friends at Hardy's Recycling in Greenville, North Carolina, who set up an ATM last week to offer more value to their customers. They can now pay cash with their ATM. There were no changes in prices last week in Raleigh and Goldsboro. Steel and junk cars were the same price. Please call 919-828-5426 in Raleigh, 919-731-5600 in Goldsboro. We hope all have a safe and profitable week. Tune in next week for the Commodities and Recycling Report. This is Greg Brown.